Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode in the series Meet the Business Development Team here at Loan Depot. We've got our very own Grant Lupo. What's up, Grant?
Hey man, how are you?
Doing great. Hey, this is a fun one for me. Grant, when did you and I meet? Do you remember what year it was?
I don't know, this is going to give too much away, but I think it was 88, 1988.
It was. That's exactly when it was. It was Grant and I went to high school together at Dana Hills here in Southern California, and we played water polo and swam together. So we have that. And then we also worked together for 4 years at a firm and now are back on the same team, which I'm super pumped about.
Yeah, how often do you get to work with a buddy from high school, kind of later in your career? It's exciting and
Yeah,
fun.
I almost 50 and later in the career, I was like, I'm not. No, I'm not. It absolutely is, huh?
Yeah, it's weird.
But hey, so obviously super stoked to have you on the team. Grant is going to be supporting our sales recruiting in the Inland Empire, San Diego, Sacramento, Central California, like Fresno up to Bakersfield, Hawaii, and then Utah, which is, I just got all those and I didn't miss any, did I?
No, that was great.
And what's cool is, we're going to be opening up branches. You're partnering with managers as we fill those branches up. So the mission's clear and couldn't think of a better person to help add to the team here and, create some more bandwidth for us.
No, I appreciate it, and yeah, super excited. Like there's, of all those places, there's a lot of bare dirt that needs representation. There's I think us West Coasters, we kind of feel like the world is kind of complete because there's no room to build anything and we've got no inventory. But then, you start driving east to, go past Vegas and you go skiing or whatever. And wow, there's all kinds of just dirt out here in
A lot of
Utah or
land.
yeah. So, and there's people out there. So it's going to be fun to kind of plant the LD flag.
Sure is. It's funny as you were saying that, I was thinking like the opposite. It's like a lot of the houses are getting pushed towards the coast, like squished with a giant, tractor, and it's just butting up against the ocean. There's nowhere else to go.
Exactly. Well, hey, that's what created such a great jumbo market for us, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's a neat place to live, but yeah, not as much empty dirt as there was when we were growing up. That's for sure. Um,
Yeah, you
hey,
can't go ride your bike out in the sticks anymore. There are
no,
no sticks.
exactly. Hey, something I always like asking, and I've asked other people on the team when I've done these videos, is like, what sets you apart as a recruiter in the mortgage business, and what does Grant Lupo do to stay on top of his game?
It sets me apart. That's you're being. I think you're being too kind. Um, I full step back, full rewind. I totally fell into this business post college. My biggest motivator was I had worked on fishing boats for my entire kind of younger life, and really I just wanted a job with a roof over my head. Like maybe I'll get to sit for a while during the day, and I won't get soaking wet or sunburned. Like which all sounds great, I get it, but sometimes it's time for a change. So I fell into the mortgage business out of college, and I started at a wholesale company, quite literally separating copy packages from original packages back in those days. But that typical first job out of college, you start in the mailroom and work your way up. And I think that uphill ascension was valuable because I've either at least rubbed elbows or touched almost every process and program or the evolution. I remember when DU and LP came to the branch and the underwriters were like pushing back, like, can't we just keep putting pen to paper? And the underwriting manager's like, no, this is here to stay. So I've had the benefit of seeing all that, and I've always the pleasant way to say it is I feel like I've always been a student of the mortgage business, even though I'm really just a mortgage geek. So because of the background and because of the history, I've always just stayed interested in products or how pricing works or how secondary works. So I, I can go deeper in a conversation, but I'm generally interested. Like I know it's lame. I should probably have better things to do with my time, but I really enjoy hearing about somebody else's process and hearing about their highs and their lows and their struggles. And the funny thing is the fundamentals have never changed, and that's it's interesting to talk about. And
Well, you create a different level of value when you have that knowledge and you're communicating with somebody about, what's going on in their world and how it translates to Loan Depot, or just having a conversation about the mortgage industry and what's going on. So that's
right.
awesome that you had that start.
Yeah, everybody's got a story. And in the funny part is we're all looking for the end process of a closed loan, but there's no one way to get there.
Yeah,
Everybody's got a different spin to it.
definitely. Hey, speaking of that, and I know you've worked for a few different companies in the same territories for the most part. Like, what are there 2 or 3 common things that you hear from successful producers or like tenured successful managers that, always pop up in your conversations and when you're spitballing with them?
Yeah, for sure. I think, people want to be, they want to be listened to, they want to be respected. Um, even if not every single idea is going to be, taken with some serious consideration, they want to feel like they've got a voice and they've got a seat at the table. And then, there's the obvious. I want to be sure that, I can keep my promises to my referral partners. It's,
Oh, definitely.
as we know, like that is the most important piece to keep my phone ringing. And, do you do you promise that, you're going to keep your promises so I can keep my promises? It's, again, it's the fundamentals, but I feel like we get so wrapped up in this business and we get moving so quickly, we forget it a lot. But, at the end of the day, it's still just a business about relationships and trust at kind of all levels, whether, you're talking to me and you believe what I'm saying, or, you know, as an originator, you can look your referral partner in the eye, whether it be an attorney or a realtor or, financial planner, and say, yeah, we're going to get the deal done and it's going to close on the 21st or whatever. Like, that's, for how simple it is, that's one of the most important pieces. And I think a lot of the times that gets pushed to the side because of this or that. But really, at the end of the day, you got to close your loans on time, and I've got to really be confident in that.
Definitely. Um, what about like I know you're just going to be getting introduced to everybody, in the markets you've just taken over. And you went through a process, right, with
Mhm.
us to learn about Loan Depot, and you knew some people here, so I think you've been paying attention for a while, like I did before I joined. But what stood out about Loan Depot for you that made you feel like, it was worth making a change and, putting on the jersey with us for this next iteration of our careers?
When you say jersey, you mean it. Like, I've never
I,
seen so many T-shirts. It's quite impressive. It is quite literally a jersey, isn't it?
I hope
Um,
that's number 7, right? Mickey Mantle.
wasn't it a 10?
Was it? Oh, I can't see it. I guess so. I picked the wrong number. I got
Oh
a
boy.
7 in the closet.
You know, I I think it's the brand. You know, rewind to after the crash, I think a lot of mortgage companies were just basically trying to camouflage themselves as, let's just look exactly like every other company and try to just be a chameleon and survive. And I think we've learned over the last maybe at least 5 years that brand matters. When we all came across Rocket Mortgage on the Super Bowl commercials, like, for all of us who are shrugging our shoulders like, oh, that'll never work, like, it's working,
Talk about
right?
eating
So
crow.
so yeah, I think, as much as we like to always say, hey, the loan officer is really the brand of the company, it does help that you have a recognizable brand in the market at all levels. It's, not just a borrower or an agent, but even, you know for me, like, I can explain to my mom that I'm working at Loan Depot, and she knows what that is. And, she's
Yeah, and
she's
for a loan officer
retired.
too, that brand plus their local in-market brand, like together,
Correct.
just amplify what it can be.
Right. You're not an island as an originator. You're just, I trust you to go out there and fly the flag. Like, it's a recognizable flag to fly. It's a partnership.
Definitely. What else? Anything else pop up as you were doing
Well,
your due
and
diligence? And
and I got to say, the technology it just continues to amaze me. From the ease of use of the point of sale system at the beginning, the app being very, very conversational, and, almost something that, you kind of feel like, God, I've got to be missing something, to how the LOS works and how the pricing works. It's all very, very intuitive and very quick. And you know, we've all talked about it. We all know, like, having to struggle and jump from one system to another, it just takes time and it gets frustrating. And I think, you know, a lot of people, it's like a necessary evil. And I think companies like Loan Depot have all of a sudden come along and said, why does it have to be a necessary evil? Like, why don't we help you save some time and frustration and gray hair and just make it quick? Again, I go back to it's the end product that we're all after, right? And so some of the simplifications, or even the mellow clear, like, let's sign off the silly conditions without having to have, you know, a pair of human eyes anymore. Like, we all, you know, we can get what a W-2 looks like, a W-2, you know, a Wells Fargo bank statement looks like a Wells Fargo bank statement. If the numbers match, let's roll. I mean, if our, you know, if an ATM now, you could, you know, cash and checks, and it the ATM machine says, oh, hey, is this all your stuff? And they read it. Like, how come an LOS can't do it?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's already, like, for some of the people that have come over, like, it's nice hearing them say, like, hey, I took an app from my phone, you know, looked at dual AUS, disclosed, like, I did all these things, and I would normally have to be in front of my desk on a computer because the technology didn't extend there. And it was just really awesome.
Which it should, I mean, the funny part is, with all the technology and all the things that we can do, I mean, what we've got it, not only do we have a rover on Mars, we've got a drone that flies off of Mars. Like, it's actually kind of weird that we're still saying, hey, look what we did. We put all these pieces together and it works. Like, okay.
And when you put it in that perspective, it is pretty funny, but it's taken a long time for people to actually get here. And, you know, it's good that we're here for sure.
Mhm.
Hey, outside of all this mortgage recruiting stuff, and dude, I know you and I could geek out and talk about this stuff forever, but
Probably.
who's Grant Lupo outside of work, and what do you do to keep busy? And
You know, Grant Lupo is a father and a husband, and a guy that's very fortunate to live in North County, San Diego. I mean, I live in a place where people come to vacation, and that's never lost on me. It is truly beautiful here. We are, especially coming out of COVID, we were so lucky to be able to, you know, when the beaches, go back to the beach, or we've got lagoons here, go to the lagoon, hop on the paddleboard. We do have, you know, we do have some space, you know, take the dog for a walk, you know, get away, and you know, not have, you know, the modern world front and center. So I do really enjoy and spend a lot of time with that. As I mentioned way earlier, I grew up working on fishing boats, and I've never lost the love of saltwater fishing. I've lost a lot of the time to do it, but I still get out there, and it's still just as fun, probably even more fun than when I was a kid, because it's kind of a novelty again. Um, I got a great group of friends. You know, I've been married to my wife for coming on 20 years now, and she's definitely, you know, a better person than I. So she's raised the bar. So I gotta try to achieve that bar.
that's awesome. Well, I dig you, dude. It's awesome to work with you again. And, you know, I feel like we get to pick up where we left off, but
Yeah,
everybody's
for
here
sure.
excited to have you. And for those of you watching this, if you know Grant, great. If you didn't know this stuff about him, you know, makes it more fun. And thanks for being on this journey with us.
Yeah, dude, I'm happy to be here. And Steve, I love you. You've got the energy that you've always had, and I love it. It's infectious.